The best show to talk about my faction. Can get the and Max reactions. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to MyFaction Reaction. My name is Nathan, and yeah, you're here because you enjoy MyFaction content. And before we get started into today's, I guess this is a topic video. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what these type of videos are going to be called. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you enjoy the content. That really means a lot to me and it helps the channel grow. So thank you so much. That being said, let's jump into this a little bit. I want to talk about something. We're having another Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming up in July. It's been 3 or 4 years since they had the initial Women's Evolution pay-per-view, and we've seen strengths of the women's division go up within the WWE, and I still feel they have probably the strongest women's division within the wrestling companies themselves, especially with some of the new players that they've just signed over the past year. Julia, Stephanie Vicaire, Jordan Grace, and now Mariah May, soon to be, or no, now her new name's not dropping off the top of my head. But anyways, Mariah May, they've just got an overly strong women's division. And I'm really excited to see the Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming back. I thought the first one was really good. I'm disappointed it's taken them this long to get back. That being said, I was looking through MyFaction and I realized something. MyFaction content in WWE 2K25 needs a women's evolution. And I want to take you guys through a few things first. So let's jump in here. So I'm just going to move over to the play here. So let's go over to the my collection. We can just go through some of the cards here quickly. But as you go through here and you can see there's a good amount of women's cards in this one, but as you start breaking into some of these other packs here, so we've got 1, 2, 3 overall women's within the first Legends pack. In the Fierce pack, we've got 3 women. In the Ascent, we've got 4 women. So that one's actually one of the higher ones. Tempest, we've got 1 woman within the Tempest collection. And it got me thinking, like, why don't we have more women representation within the MyFaction card packs? And I started to do a little bit of math here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to bore you with a little bit of math that I put together here. But in general, when you look at it, the women's cards are sitting about 35% of the cards compared to the men's cards. And if you actually take because I've separated the card packs themselves from things like live events, weekly towers, world tour, locker codes, faction wars, and token cards, it's actually down to 32%, 32.84. And there's a lot of sets, when you look at the sets themselves, you get 1 women's card. You get like 2 to 3 women's cards in that set. And I'm often excited to play as the women, but there just isn't a strong representation from the women, especially with the diverse roster of women that they do have within the WWE. The women's market continues to grow. So why aren't we seeing more women? And when we do see women, a lot of the times it's the same women over and over again. So they're going to focus on the Bianca Belair, the Charlotte, Becky. So like, we don't have a special Bayley card. Where's Bayley? So it just kind of came to me that with the Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming up, I think it's time for 2K25 to really look at how they're putting these card packs together and making a decision on how do we add more women and how do we make the cards better? Because we haven't even talked about the placement of the cards. A lot of time, the women cards just seem to be added in, and if they are, they're the lower card variety. So in this case, in the Sinister, there's 2 women's cards. However, they are both in the Sapphire and the lower ratings. Now, that being said, there is an Alexa Bliss as a collection reward, and she is an Amethyst. So that is pretty strong card, but that's one of the stronger cards that's out there for it. When we go to demastered, we have a Kurt Angle reward here. And we've got 2 women's cards. I guess this one's a little bit more even, but you're still 2 women to 7 men's cards overall. So yeah, I think it's time 2K25 really look when they're putting these cards together. And like I said, there's no worse example than the Tempest cards overall, because like I said, with the exception of Jade Cargill, which is the collector or the collection reward for this, you've got 1 women's card within this entire set of 10 cards that you can unlock through the packs. And like I said, most card packs, when you're looking at them, are going to be 2 to 3 women's cards on average, if you're looking at the overall average of the cards. And I just think we can do so much better. I enjoy playing as the women. I think it gives a little bit more versatility within the faction wars, especially if you're playing faction wars. I'd like to see more live events featuring some of the women characters. And then beyond that, playing in ranked, just having a little bit more options for the cards that you can get. And we've talked about some of the women, like, where's a great Chelsea? Give me a good Chelsea Green card. Give me a good Roxanne Perez card. Like, there's a ton of great women's wrestlers out there, and we should really be trying to do a better job reflecting within the content of MyFaction itself, because we're so male heavy here. Anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts. This is not an overall long video. Like I said, I just wanted to talk about it quickly and start to bring it up. We've got Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming up in just over a month. It's mid-July. And, well, I don't think this is in time to actually make any meaningful changes. They probably have these card packs panned out for a few months ahead of time. It would be great to see MyFaction and WWE 2K25 actually notice this and then potentially make changes going forward, even if it's not this year. I don't know how long they have the card packs planned out in advance. I'm assuming it's quite a while. But into 2K26 or 2K26, maybe make some more meaningful changes in regard to that. All right, guys, we're going to leave this one off a little early. I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching this video. Let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think about women representation within the MyFaction mode in WWE 2K25? Is it enough? Do they need more? Is 35% acceptable? What do you guys think? And what women's, and this is the big question for you guys, what women's wrestler doesn't have a card that you wish did have a card that would be fun to play as? And I'll let you guys answer that in the comments below, because I'm really curious about that. Anyways, have a great day, guys. And we'll be back soon, hopefully with more live event stuff. I don't know. The live events have been really quiet over the past few days. I will be back doing some more streaming. We streamed last night playing Faction Wars as I'm on my quest to get Bianca Belair, the Pink Diamond Bianca Belair from the collection levels. So yeah, we've got that. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Means the world to me when you guys do that. All right, guys, enjoy your days, and we'll talk later. Have a great day. Bye.